My parents laughed at my online business for years until I made $1.2 million and left their golden girl speechless at her own graduation party. My name is Ethan. I'm 31. And if there's one thing I've learned about family, it's that they'll support you the most unless your success makes them uncomfortable. I never took the standard route. While the majority of my relatives were away at university studying law, medicine, or whatever else would get them a LinkedIn badge and parental bragging rights, I was holed up in my childhood bedroom, creating an e-commerce brand out of thin air. Initially, the company only sold bespoke phone cases, then t-shirts, then it snowballed. While they were submitting resumes and praying for internships, I was doing taxes for an LLC and managing 6 figures of merchandise. But according to my mother, I was still between jobs. That's how I was presented at weddings and reunions. This is Ethan. He's figuring things out. As if my company didn't exist until someone in a suit claimed it did. The graduation celebration that broke the camel's back was for Emily, my cousin. She was 23, had just graduated from a prominent institution with a degree in international relations, and was the family's golden girl. You know the type: class president, knows 3 languages, volunteers at shelters, and somehow looks like a Disney princess in every shot. Growing up, I never had any problems with her. To be honest, we were civil, not particularly close, but not antagonistic. But Emily always had this air about her, as if she wanted everyone to clap at the end of each phrase. Her parents, my aunt and uncle, fueled it. Every minor accomplishment was celebrated with a party, a framed award, a group text, and a Facebook album titled Emily's Big Moment. When I received the invitation to her graduation celebration, I knew what to expect: a catered outdoor affair at their suburban home, complete with string lights, champagne, and an exorbitant tent rental. What I didn't foresee was the role I would be assigned. When I arrived, I drove up a little early to avoid the usual bustle, only to be met by Aunt Lisa, Emily's mother, waving a neon vest as if I'd just clocked in for work. "That's fantastic, Ethan. We hoped you could assist with the parking situation. We have cars backing up down the street." "No hello. No, thanks for coming. Just a vest, a walkie-talkie, and a pat on the back as if I were a college freshman working valet on weekends." I blinked at her. "I'm not working at the party, Lisa. I came to celebrate." She laughed as if I had told a joke. "Please, help us out for an hour or so. You're skilled at logistics, correct? Your small internet thing." I should have walked away then. I should have given her the vest and told her no. But something in me, probably my cursed familial loyalty, made me accept it. I spent the first 90 minutes of the party waving SUVs into grass patches and assisting elderly relatives with their walkers over difficult terrain. Nobody relieved me. Nobody brought me a drink. When I eventually sat down at one of the fold-out tables in the rear, sweaty and dusty, the genuine celebration had already begun. There was a large banner across the yard that read, "Congrats, Emily," in sparkling gold. A red ribbon was placed over the driveway gate, which appeared to be disguising a brand new Kia Soul. Guests gathered around the cake table to sip beverages and dine. My mother, who was seated front and center, gave me a half-hearted wave as if she had raised Emily herself. I noticed my name scrawled on a paper place card hidden beneath a beautiful fern in the buffet line, distant from the main tables. Emily was shining. She wore a white outfit that reflected light with every movement, and she moved from table to table as if she were running for office. When a microphone was delivered to her, she tapped it dramatically before laughing. "I just wanted to thank everyone for coming," she said, raising her champagne flute. "It means so much to be surrounded by people who value hard work and real education, especially in a time where it's so easy to get distracted by online hobbies." She smiled straight at me. The pause was intentional. The delivery was razor-sharp. And how did they react? Laughter. Actual laughing. My uncle snorted. My cousin Michael spit out a sip from his drink. Even my mother gave a tight, ashamed smile, as if she had been caught trying not to laugh but couldn't stop herself. I felt heat rising up my neck. I glanced at the condensation pouring down my untouched drink, trying not to react. "Not yet," Emily continued, oblivious, or perhaps just brave. "Some of us spent 4 years pursuing a degree that signifies something. Sorry, not sorry." More laughs. She clinked glasses with a few close guests before returning the microphone like a teen drama drop the mic scene. My mother looked across at me, gave a slight shrug, and said, she didn't mean it. The fact is, I didn't care about the car. I didn't care about the banner, the speech, or the fact that every photo was taken with me cropped out in the backdrop, standing by the hedge like a forgotten waiter. What hurt was the years of silent dismissals, smirks when I attempted to describe my job. My own mother would skip over my updates to discuss which of Emily's lecturers formerly worked for the State Department. But as I sat there with dust on my sneakers and a drink in my hand, something inside me moved. I waited until the last toast was given. The clapping subsided, and people began to move toward the dance floor where a Bluetooth speaker was playing top 40 songs. I stood up, brushed off my clothes, and made my way to the main table where Emily and her friends were posing for photos next to the car, still high from the ovation. "Hey, Emily," I said casually, loud enough for the close audience to hear. She paused mid-laugh, evidently not expecting me to reply. "Yeah," she questioned, her eyes narrowing. I raised my glass and grinned. "Just wanted to say congrats. It must feel great knowing your degree got you here, and it's awesome that your family supports you so much." I took a large sip. My little online hobby just cleared $1.2 million this year. But hey, nice Kia. Silence. Emily's smile froze. Someone behind her dropped a fork. My uncle's mouth dropped open. My mother blinked twice, as if she couldn't process the words. I didn't wait for their reactions to subside. I simply nodded, turned on my heel, and walked away toward the gate. The last thing I heard was someone whispering, "Wait, what did he say?" And I had no intention of staying for what happened next. As I walked down the gravel road to my car, I could feel the stairs piercing my back like heat bulbs. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I had played my part. I had spoken everything I needed to say, and I knew that small mic drop moment would reverberate throughout the gathering like a pebble on still water. The fact is, I hadn't planned on saying anything. I actually hadn't. However, years of being the family's quiet afterthought, the one who got the short end of the talk and the long list of favors, had finally added up. And Emily's arrogant little jab was the last straw. When I got into my car and drove away, no one came after me. Not yet. But by the time I arrived home, parked in front of my stylish 3-bedroom house, which I purchased outright last year, my phone had already started buzzing. First came the texts. One from my mother, that was uncalled for, "Ethan. You embarrassed the entire family." Then another, "We'll chat later. Please don't make a big deal out of it." Then Aunt Lisa, "Was that really necessary? Emily worked hard to earn her degree. You're not the only one with accomplishments." I didn't respond. I turned off my phone, dropped it on the kitchen counter, and let the silence of my home wash over me. That night, I got the best sleep I'd had in months. The aftermath occurred in waves over the next 2 days. Monday morning, I opened my business email and discovered 3 fresh interview requests. Apparently, one of Emily's friends looked up my company after the party and was really impressed with what we'd built, not fallen into. This isn't some minor online activity. That word meant something to me. A month ago, I might have forwarded the inquiries to my assistant. Now, I took the calls myself. For once, I wanted others to hear my story. Tuesday evening, my mother arrived at my door. She didn't text first. She just rang the doorbell, clutching a Tupperware container, as if it was still 2006 and I was a college student in need of lasagna and life counsel. I opened the door slowly. "Hey," she said, a little too quietly. "I brought dinner." I stepped back and motioned her in. She hovered in the entrance, surveying the living room as if it were the first time she'd seen it. The minimalist furniture, local art pieces, and smart lighting, all of it screamed success in a language she had never bothered to understand. "You've done well for yourself," she finally said. "Yeah," I replied. "I have." She placed the Tupperware on the countertop. "You embarrassed Emily and the entire family. She's devastated." I folded my arms and leaned on the kitchen island. "Mom, she mocked me in public. I didn't start anything. I finished it." "But $1.2 million, she said, like it was a sin, as if saying it aloud would summon an IRS demon. "It's the truth." She stopped, her jaw stiff. "Why haven't you told me?" I laughed, not unkindly. "I did. You just never wanted to hear it. You liked the version of me that needed assistance. That fit into your tiny story, Ethan, the dropout, still trying to figure things out. You could pity me. But I stopped needing it a long time ago." She sat down hard, as if my words had knocked the wind out of her. "I wasn't trying to pity you," she said quietly. "No?" I asked. "So why was Emily always so motivated while I was just the kid who made stickers in his room?" She didn't have an explanation for that. "Instead," she said, "Emily is looking for work. You know, nothing has come through yet." I grinned tightly. "So, the actual degree didn't open every door after all." That earned me a scowl. "Don't be cruel." "I'm not. I'm just tired of pretending I haven't earned a place in this family." She stood up and brushed phantom crumbs from her blouse. "She wants to apologize," she muttered. "Does she?" I raised an eyebrow. "She said she went too far." I didn't respond since I didn't believe it. Not yet. Later that night, I looked at my phone for the first time since Saturday. Emily's text sat unread, "Hey, about the party. I shouldn't have said what I said. That was messed up. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long time, not because I didn't know what to do, but because the power dynamic had shifted, and everyone knew it. For years, they assumed I was the guy scraping by on Wi-Fi in a dream. No, I was the one who built an empire while they weren't looking. The following weekend, however, was when things really began to spin out of control. Aunt Lisa called me directly, no warning, just a voicemail. "Ethan, I need to talk to you about something important. We've run into a bit of a financial situation. I didn't want to bring this up, but your uncle's hours got cut, and the lease on Emily's new car isn't exactly manageable. I know things got tense, but we're still family, right?" That's when something clicked. They weren't just humiliated, they wanted something. I listened to the voicemail twice, not because I wanted to hear what she said again, but because I couldn't believe how quickly the tone changed. Just days before, I'd been the family joke in a vest directing cars into grassy patches. Now I was the emergency exit. I didn't call Aunt Lisa back right away. I didn't even respond. I let it sit, letting the discomfort grow. I recognized this pattern. It was predictable. First the derision, then the silence, then the sudden tenderness and the "we're still family" line as soon as they needed a favor. And make no mistake, this was a favor, a pricey one. I sat down at my kitchen table, opened my laptop, and went to Emily's Instagram. She'd posted a carousel of photos from the party, the banner, speeches, and the keys to her new car with a caption, "To new beginnings and real work that makes a difference," right? Real work. That phrase again. I scrolled through the comments and saw dozens of likes from extended family, acquaintances, and former classmates. A handful of them tagged her and expressed how amazing she was. One even said, "Can't wait to work with you at the embassy." That made me smirk. I knew Emily hadn't received a single job offer, not because she told me, but because my mother had accidentally let it slip while half defending her in my kitchen. The girl who toasted to real degrees and derided online hobbies was now 3 months into post-graduation unemployment and clearly stressed out. Still, I had no plans to do anything. I wasn't looking for blood. Not yet. Then came the second call, this one from my uncle, David. "Ethan, hello. I just wanted to clear the air. You know we love you. Always have. About the whole party thing? Just a little playful taunting. Emily has a great sense of humor, doesn't she? She takes after her father." He chuckled nervously. "Lisa mentioned the lease and left you a message. We're just a touch tight this month. It would be greatly appreciated if you could float us the first few installments to keep things running smoothly while Emily settles in. I mean, you did say your business was going great, right?" I sat there in startled silence, clutching my phone like a live grenade. The arrogance was nearly artistic. No mention of the years I'd spent quietly footing costs for birthday gifts, Christmas feasts, or family emergencies while they offered me folding chairs and backhanded compliments. Not a single acknowledgement that Emily's words were cruel, not mocking, humorous, or a joke. No apologies, just more entitlement, more of the same. That's when I opened the spreadsheet I'd saved for years, not obsessively, just methodically. Every dollar I'd ever given or spent on this family, from the $300 I loaned Michael for textbooks, which he never paid back, to the $2,000 I lent Lisa and David when their roof began leaking 2 winters ago. I had been guilted into every favor. I paid every bill quietly to keep the peace. The grand total? $42,860. Not including interest. Not including emotional labor. Not including the way they made me feel like a glorified piggy bank with no actual accomplishments. I looked at the number for a long time. Then I took a deep breath and began crafting a note for Emily. "Hey, got your text. Been thinking about it. Appreciate the apology, but I've been thinking maybe it's time for some clarity for everyone's sake. You're right, by the way, you did work hard. I just don't think that justifies mocking other people's success, especially when you don't fully understand it. But more than that, I'm realizing I've spent years investing in this family, financially and emotionally, and all I've gotten in return is dismissiveness." I read it twice. No venom. No gloating. Just a line in the sand. Then I forwarded a variation of that message to my uncle, aunt, and, more delicately, my mother. She called right away. "Ethan, can we discuss this?" "You can't just..." "Yes," I interrupted calmly and clearly. "I can." And I just did. There was a pause on the other end of the line. For the first time, she didn't have a script. "Did you really earn more than $1 million last year?" "Yes." "How?" "You never asked." Another prolonged silence. "What do you want us to do?" she asked, her voice low. And that question stayed with me for a moment because that was the point, wasn't it? I didn't want them to do anything. I just wanted them to stop expecting me to handle everything. I abruptly ended the call, not out of spite, but because I didn't feel obligated to perform for anyone. The mask was off. The bank was closed. The family's joke had finally been told. Emily hadn't responded to my message for 2 days. I assumed she was either stewing, preparing a faux gracious response, or too humiliated to say anything at all. I honestly didn't care. I had spoken my piece. The weight that had been resting on my chest for years, guilt, obligation, the constant sense of being seen but never valued, was finally lifted. For the first time in forever, I felt light. Then, on the third day, I received a calendar invitation. Subject: Coffee with Emily Johnson. Time: Saturday at 10 a.m. Café Alder, downtown. I stared at it for a moment, trying to decide whether to decline, but a part of me was curious. I accepted, not because I expected a heartfelt apology, but because I wanted to see her in the eyes and discover what, if anything, was genuine beneath all of her polished superiority. Saturday morning rolled around, gray and rainy. I thought it was fitting. I arrived 10 minutes early and got a black coffee, no frills or distractions. She arrived 5 minutes late, dressed in a cream blazer, heels, and a countenance full of well-managed humility. Even amid the rain, Emily dressed as if she expected to be in the spotlight. "Ethan," she murmured with a little smile as she took the seat across from me. "Thank you for coming. I didn't expect you to show." "Neither did I," said quietly. "But here we are." We sat in silence for a beat. She stirred her cappuccino as if it were an art project. "I read your message," she finally said. "Twice." "Okay. And you're right." I raised an eyebrow. "I was awful," she said. "Not only at the party, for years. I made fun of your work because I didn't comprehend it. And to be honest, I was jealous." This caught me by surprise. "Jealous?" I echoed. "Yeah," she replied, not meeting my gaze. "You found your thing. You made it work. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with a shiny degree, no job prospects, and a car that my parents can't afford. The joke I told at the party, it was less about you and more about me trying to feel better about my situation." I waited for her words to settle. I didn't rush to forgive. I wasn't sure if I wanted to. "I appreciate you saying that," I said slowly and deliberately, "but that doesn't undo years of jabs, of being treated as if I were less than by everyone, including my own mother." "I know," she whispered. "That's on me, and them, all of us." I nodded, my gaze locked on the rain pouring down the window beside us. "Why did you actually ask me here, Emily?" She bit her lip. "Not for money. I swear." "Good, because that door is closed." She nodded swiftly. "I understand. I didn't come to ask for help. I just wanted to own it. Publicly." I looked at her, puzzled. "Publicly?" That's when she dug into her bag, took out her phone, opened her Instagram app, turned the device toward me, and pressed the record button on a story. "Hi, everyone," she said, nervously smiling into the camera. "So, this is a little uncomfortable, but it's time I say something. At my graduation celebration last week, I made a disparaging remark about online businesses and those who work outside of the established system. It was petty, harsh, and absolutely inaccurate. My cousin Ethan is one of the most determined and successful individuals I know. He started his firm from scratch with no handouts or shortcuts, and I publicly mocked him for it. That's my fault. And I apologize, not only to him, but to everyone I impacted with that attitude. Real success doesn't come with a diploma. It requires work. And Ethan, if you're watching, thank you for calling me out. I needed it." She paused the video, posted it without hesitation, and returned the phone to her purse. I blinked. It was unexpected. She shrugged. "I deserve to feel embarrassed. You were for years. It's only fair." For the first time in a long time, I saw her not as Emily the Golden Girl, but as a young woman trying to detangle herself from the image her family had created for her and possibly from the one she had created for herself. "You're lucky I'm not a petty man," I said with a tiny smile. She smirked. "Don't push it." We talked for another hour, but not about money, careers, or family politics, just about life, travel, books. We never shared the little things because we were always competing or avoiding each other. When we eventually rose to leave, she hugged me, not just a slap on the back, but a genuine hug, a peaceful one, the kind that says, "I understand now." A week later, my mother called. "Did you see the video?" she asked hesitantly. I did. She didn't even tell us she was posting it. She didn't need to. "I'm proud of you," she murmured, her voice thick with a hint of remorse. "And I apologize for how I discussed your work, for not listening, for not asking." I didn't gloat. I didn't say anything. I simply said, "Thank you." The next family gathering was a month later. Uncle David had a 4th of July barbecue. I showed up in jeans and a polo as usual, but this time I wasn't handed a vest or asked to service the ice machine. Instead, Emily strolled up, handed me a plate full of food, and said, "You're sitting with me." So, I did. There was no speech, no banner, no toast, just laughs, stories, and a strange sense of equilibrium I hadn't had in years. When someone inquired what I did for a living, Emily was the first to respond. "He manages a multi-million-dollar web brand. It's absolutely insane. You should see his setup." The silence that followed was lovely. No snorting, no smirking, just impressed nods and follow-up questions. I responded to a couple, smiled nicely, and kept the rest to myself because they wanted to know, and I didn't need them to. The Kia was eventually returned. Emily began working for a non-profit organization, doing actual work that was important to her, not her parents. Aunt Lisa and Uncle David stopped calling me for handouts. My mother still doesn't understand what I do, but she now brags about me as if I invented the internet. I still have that spreadsheet, not out of bitterness, but as a reminder of where I came from and what I no longer owe. They say that prosperity is the best form of vengeance. I believe that greater clarity is preferable. After all that noise, stillness is the loveliest sound. Thanks for watching and diving into this wild family drama with me. If you love Reddit family drama, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.